How'd you first learn about sex?
I was sitting with my dad, and I don't know how the conversation came up, but he started talking to me about, he used the term the birds and the bees. So I remember sitting on the bed and kind of listening to him and watching cartoons, but that was at an early age, at about 9 years old. My dad was awesome in educating me. I was always able to take questions back to him. And then I was lucky to have a wonderful support group of uncles.
How do you plan on teaching your kids or educating them about sex?
I have been thinking about this lately, with my son, just talking about relationships and the importance of relationships and taking care of people, especially those you love and plan to be with. And just protecting one another. I think that's where we're going to start. The lucky thing, being a Reading High boys basketball coach, I have these conversations all the time trying to help young men get through, their maturing stages. So we'll see how it works out on the home front.
What is one misconception or myth about sex that you thought was true when you were younger?
I thought everyone had, I was scared of it because I thought everyone had an STD. I think my first true, really educational experience outside of the general conversation with my dad and the mentoring with all the people in my life, when you get to school and you get your first health book and you start opening up your health book, it's kind of like that's your first real, lesson as to, and I don't even think we talked about sex, we just talked about the outcomes. So I think what happened to a lot of us, because I had a lot of friends who were teenage parents, now it becomes a joke, so you take it for granted. Now you do end up pregnant or with a sexually transmitted disease because we didn't take heed to those lessons that we were taught.
What do you think we can do to help with this problem?
We have to be honest with each other. We have to be real. Our students, we were all teenagers at one point, so anything that, or the majority of what they've done, we have done. And we have to bridge the gap between the adults and our youth and say, hey, you can talk to us. I think that's something, Wesley, that we try to do on our basketball team. And that honesty is, when you're making these mistakes or doing these things recklessly without any guidance, there could be some negative outcomes to them. But if you're living and you had some wisdom that you can attach to, someone that can give you some real advice, it might help you steer clear of some of these pitfalls. I think we have a lot to learn from each other.
Coach Perez questions Wesley.
You're in the age that, we want to help, be educated. How do you feel you're prepared, to work through these things?
Just become more educated, and if it does happen, be smart about it. And, whether it's using a condom or a girl's using a female condom, just make sure I'm ready and smart about the situation.
Right. That's a great answer. It will, approach you. So how you deal with that. And I know you have amazing parents. You have amazing support system. Don't be afraid to ask questions. So it may take us a moment to answer. But, and adults, don't be afraid to talk about it. We can guide them in the best way possible. So I think we all have to open the doors to each other and try to help each other through this. These things happen. So we can't be afraid to broach the conversation. And this is something in an appropriate way we have to be more willing and able to speak about.
Follow us on social media to stay informed and view all the videos from our Let's Talk series.